losing 192 trading the S&P, Tesla, and Meta. We're going to get into all those trade recaps in this video. I'm going to pop a screenshot up on the screen, and then I'll log into the prop firm account so you can see all that stuff. But for some reason, we're having an issue with TradeZella where it's not auto syncing right now. So I'll do that eventually, or it'll get fixed in, a day or two, and whatever it is, what it is. So the trades for this, there's a couple things I want to talk about. First, let's dive into the actual dashboard. We're back to pretty much flat since opening this up, which it's a pain, it hurts, but at the same time, it's also, what real trading actually is. So it kind of is what it is. We started off doing pretty well. If you go to I'll just go off there. Started off doing pretty well. We're up $500-600. Had a string of, I think 4 losers in a row. Had a winner, loser, and then pretty much had, I don't want to say 4 in a row because there was a winner thrown in there, but we've lost most of the trades the past 2 weeks. Most of the trades. So maybe had 1 or 2 winners. So it's like, But in the grand scheme, with all these losers, I'm actually pretty happy with it because things are just not working, which is fine. But I haven't gone into the red, technically, for the month, for this account. This one might go into the red, but in the grand scheme, I'm actually happy with where we're at. So we made some progress and given some back, but that's just kind of how things go. So I could definitely size up a little bit bigger to get things moving faster over time, but it's not what I'm trying to do right now. So the sizing that I've been using is just where I'm going to stay. No reason to change it until later on. Or really ever, for all I care, because then you can do other things, which I'll talk about maybe one day. So we had an S&P trade, we had a Tesla trade, and we had a Meta trade. So that's the order of the trades. So I'll jump into this. Now, I am making this on Saturday. These trades took place on Friday. Here's the biggest piece to this puzzle that I think we should start with. Volume. Not like it was terrible, but we did not see high volume. Maybe you could make the argument for Tesla, which, yeah, you could. But we did not see high volume going in. And so that probably right there for me was a good sign to not trade. Looking back, obviously hindsight, you can go back and go, yeah, I shouldn't have, right? But let's just try to try to take something away from this. I think the biggest thing was I saw setups. However, volume wasn't really there and we did not get follow through. And so things didn't work. And I was curious if things were going to work because I was somewhat skeptical of this. I kind of knew that going in, especially on the Meta trade, which I'll show you in a second. But I took it anyway, and we see what happens. So here's the trade. I have a blue line across the top of the screen. This is my breakout on SPY. Well, I was actually looking at SPX. I'll go to SPX. I was looking at this on the 4-hour chart and the 1-hour chart. And if you zoom in, what you're going to kind of see is that, yeah, we had a level of resistance that I was looking to break, and we got up. We're still uptrending, so it's not like market's plummeting like, oh my god. No, this could end up breaking on Monday for all we know. Next week's a big catalyst week, so who knows what happens next week. Either way though, right, you're trending up. We've been trending up for a long time prior, and you have a nice area of resistance. So what did I do? I got in here, and of course I was liquidity for the short side. Not that it was a massive dump or anything like that, but pop this top here and then whoop, right back down into a higher low. So this has been a market better for dip buying than breakout trading, which is, we go through the ebbs and flows, right? This is how it is. I don't, as I've explained before in the past on these recaps, I don't give a fuck. I do not care about trying to be the dip buyer. I do not care. I won't trade that way. I won't do it. So you can say, oh, you should have looked at that, should have did this. Yeah, I should have done a lot of things, but those things would deviate from trading my strategy. And if I deviate from my strategy, all my stats, data, numbers, confidence behind it from the past 9 months goes out the window because I haven't traded that way consistently enough to know what my numbers are, what works, what are my triggers, all these different things, right? So that's just what, that's just how my head is working when it comes to it. So that was that. So but that was a trade there on the S&P. Obviously fell back off and we got stopped out. My original target was risking the low of the day, which we ended up breaking down low of day on that on the trade. So you can see if you jump in at the time, low of day was right here. This is looking at futures, or this is looking at the S&P. Sorry, this is the open, and this is the close. So low of day was right here. We broke that. Honestly, if I had noticed it, I literally put the trade on the left. I could have probably gotten out in here and saved a few bucks, but this trade lost 95.50. The next trade was on Tesla. So then I go, okay, well, we're breaking down there. Not that the overall market's still trending up, which is, fair. But Tesla has been weak. It's been one of the weakest stocks. Like, obviously, with the earnings and stuff were weak. So if we see a short setup, I would be interested in taking that short setup. And so I did. And so what I was looking for for Tesla was actually a breakdown underneath the low right here. So if I drew a line across, you'd essentially tag this, which at the time looked like a little bit of a flag, right? And you had these lows, and I'm like, oh, that could be a good breakdown. And it was, right? So I ended up getting in right in here, which we got a nice little push down, and it just didn't get the follow through. So almost right away. Now, I actually ended up moving my stops. This trade only lost $9 plus commissions. So it wasn't that big of a deal. You can even say it was kind of a break-even trade. Pretty much it was. So when I get in this trade, right, and I see it break down, and it had a little high volume spike right here. So I'm like, okay, good news, right? Good. And then it stays below, right? We're putting in lower highs. So it looked good. But I mean, right, what is this? It broke down at 1:40 p.m. and it didn't really make a big move for the next 50 minutes. Like, it made a move from the breakdown at 182.70, and lows made a 60-cent move. Tesla 60 cents in an hour. Come on. There's no momentum. So, and that's why I moved my stops. It's simply put, all I did was I essentially was like, okay, well, my stop was originally here, and then I moved it to the breaking candle, and then I eventually moved it to like just around break even, and then ended up stopping me out for a $9 loss on this candle right here. So, and the writing was on the wall when this, like, it didn't break and then fake me out and break, and stop me out right away. It just kind of didn't do anything. I'm like, oh man, low a day, really? I thought we'd see, at least a push to test the lows of the day before. No, we didn't get that. So it is what it is. It's just, it's funny because if you think about it from like a market maker or whatever perspective, if you want to get into that whole, side of things, I mean, you just sit this thing and let it not do shit to the close and bleed out all the premium from all the people who played earnings, right? So it kind of makes sense that happened, and it's not like I'm going to trade that way or think that way, because then that's making yourself say, yeah, I think I know what's going to happen, so I'm going to do it. No, but I tried to trade the charts, so it just didn't work. But again, like, if you have good risk management, not a big deal. This is really essentially a wash trade. Doesn't break the bank, loses a few bucks, and that's it. The next trade is where I think this one I went a little too much, because so I'm looking at this chart, and it really wasn't the best of trades, because I'm looking at, there's a couple reasons why. I think this was me, when you have 2 weeks in a row of essentially, this like painful price action where it feels like, you're pulling teeth and you're just like, you're not getting anywhere. I think it kind of mentally got to me to a degree. Not like I've done a lot better over the months and more recently of not allowing that to like really spiral as it can and has for many people and has for me in the past, where you then just take 30 trades and you don't stop out because you think it's going to do this. And no, I still respect my shit, but I didn't need to take this one. So here we go. Here's Meta, right? So here's the break to the upside, little flag to the upside. Obviously, we're trending up into this resistance, and then cool. And then I see it just get here, and I did not trade the first break above this level, which was right here. Did not do that. But as the day goes on, I go, oh, look at this little area right here. This resistance was right on the highs of a couple of days prior. So I'm like, okay, with strength, maybe second or third time's a charm, right? Here was the first break, here's the second break, third time's a charm. Let's be honest. What the fuck am I doing here? Why? Because I was sitting around with I was just sitting around thinking that I got to do something. There was no need to do anything this time, right? They didn't have to do anything. Now, what do we got? Do we have volume there? Volume was very low in this consolidation. As you can see down here, right? Very low. Volume perks a little bit, but not much, and then it breaks. Bigger picture, go to that 1 hour chart, go to that 4 hour chart, right, where that brought the idea to my attention, right? What do you see on the volume on the bottom of our screen here, right? volume actually has been trending down. Now that's a good thing for when we eventually get a high volume break. But I knew this going in, and I still took the trade anyway, because volume hasn't been a staple requirement. I originally started trading this way without even caring about volume. I have since made some critiques and some adjustments, and I believe that with looking at volume, it has, not I believe, I know, it's allowed me to kind of narrow in and focus the trades in more, and there's less trades, right? Because now you're looking at volume as well. So you got to meet XYZ criteria. In this example, I just straight up just ignored the volume. And I knew it because I thought it too, but I was like, I don't like it. And earlier in the day, that's why I didn't take the initial break. But then late in the day, I was like, oh, come on. This is after the Tesla trade stops me out. And I'm like, oh, come on, this is going to be great. And then it doesn't go. So had we broken this level on high volume, okay, that's valid to me and my strategy. It didn't happen. So all that I'm seeing here is this just confirms that volume is important. It confirms volume is important. Now, those are the trades there, but I want to hammer it home even more. I look back to myself as well. McDonald's versus Berkshire Hathaway trades, same thing. Now, McDonald's has this high volume candle right here, which it was higher, but still, was this like an insanely high volume compared if you zoom in? Not really. Like there was many days where we had higher volume on McDonald's. That was the break right here. Okay, so it's like, okay, it was good, but nothing insane when it comes to volume on that specific day. But if I were to go BRKB, Berkshire Hathaway, this is the trade that I had up, the winner of this week, which I did end up selling this one about $5-6 early, which is what it is. This one, kind of the same situation, right? You see volume pump off the bottom. We have a nice push, and then volume comes in more. Nothing insane, but at least this is a little bit cleaner to where you can say, yeah, compared to like we had a spike here, but compared to prior weeks, like this is, this is much higher. And it's pretty much along the highs of volume that we've seen on that break day. So it was like, okay, that volume followed through. Maybe that wasn't the best example. I don't know. But I looked back at McDonald's and I was like, it's just not clean. The volumes didn't look clean to me because it had just, all these spikes. So maybe it's not as useful, or maybe it's just a stock that I never trade again. I don't know. For all I know, who knows? We'll see what happens. But that's a recap. Here it is here. Let's go. I can go to the trade history so you can see it all here. I'll go to the recent trades. Let's see. This takes you at Meta, Tesla, or this Microsoft was a order that never actually filled on Friday. And this is the S&P. So these are the trades there. Now, this calculates, it says my win percentage is 23%. It says I've lost 67 or 76. It's not actually accurate because it's calculating all of these right here where it says other. These are just commissions. So it's calculating commissions as trades. So it doesn't really matter. TradeZella is not doing that, but that's the deal. So TradeZella, once it updates, that'll be about 192 in the loss column there. So subtract 192 from this on the month, and that's what we're at. So we're still up a little bit, but not a lot, and it is what it is. Our average win-loss is still going to be really good. We're going to have just a lower win rate. Our win rate's probably going to be looking at 40-ish%, maybe even dropping into the 30s after those 3 losses. So, but the thing that's kind of cool to me is like, if I could have a 40% win rate and be profitable in a given month, that just sounds amazing to me. So that's where we are. That's the update. That's everything. This is like I've been saying, guys, this is real trading. This is how it actually is. It's not about, you're not going to win every single day. It's just not reality. People who do, maybe some people are really good. Chances are they're probably not. So that's the update. I'll leave links and resources down below like always, and stay tuned. Any trades that I close out, we make a recap and we drop them in the playlist here. The 25K challenge is because this is the prop firm. And the trade recap playlist is back, through all of our recaps going back, I think, to August or so when I started actually posting the trade recaps every single trade. Thanks so much, guys. Peace.